StreamYard decent.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing this fine Monday evening? I am April Showers of the April Showers Network, and I am starting a series, Pink, Joliet, Illinois. I'm going to talk about people who I have seen and watched on Facebook, YouTube, people I see doing positive things in the community of Joliet. I saw Mr. Ferrell with some kids, oh my God, years ago, and they were saying, get ready, we coming. It was such a powerful statement. Without further ado, I bring Mr. Karl Ferrell of Joliet, Illinois. Mr. Ferrell, I'm going to let you tell your story. Get the audience your bio.
All right, I appreciate the intro. I like your intro too. That was nice. Um, so I'm Karl Ferrell. If y'all don't know me, man, I'm out here, and basically my sole objective is to um, raise the awareness, raise our self awareness to us, and the the tools that have been manifested against us, the systems that have been designed to, oppress us and help educate us, organize us so we could destroy those systems and we could rebuild ourselves. Joliet has the potential to be, like the next Black Wall Street. This is the third largest city in Illinois. But it's a lot of problems here that are so instilled in just everyday, the everyday living that uh, it's a lot of things that are accepted because they normalized. But it's time to like dismantle that system. It's time to like for everybody to realize what's going on and what I'm saying, really get what's ours and what's supposed to be ours and grow how we can grow and knock down those barriers that stop our growth economically, socially, and politically. So that's what I do. I have in 2020 I was the founder. I'm one of the founders of BLM Will County. I'm one of the founders of the Democratic Black Caucus. Um, I had I had got elected for Joliet Township trustee, and at that point, I was still speaking out against the injustices that I saw. Um, and I'm not really an advocate of politics. So with that understanding, I want you to understand that I didn't run like for an office to be a politician. Um, I was asked to run with a slate because that position actually helped decide where funds would be allocated for assistance programs. So it came back full circle to being able to help the community. And so I ran, but when I did run and we won, I was speaking out against the state's attorney office because like I say, it's systemic. So it's a system out here that works really well, and part of that is that the state's attorney, he has a lack of due diligence um, when it comes to holding officers accountable when they act unlawfully. You know what I mean? on their job, right? So when police do unlawful things, which are illegal, if something's unlawful, it's a crime, right? So when they commit crimes while they're working, they don't get held accountable for that. Um, that was something that I was saying in 2020. In 2021, I held a protest outside the state's attorney office. At that point, they decided to attack me, but uh, it came full circle because now the attorney general, after their 3-year investigation of the Joliet Police Department, they saying the same things. They actually documented the same things that I said in 2021. And so,
Yes,
with that,
Joliet was found in compliance. The Joliet Police Department was found that they were an abusive, excessive force police department.
yeah, excess, but even more specific. So, even more specific. So, and what everybody should understand is that the Attorney General's report actually said the police operate with racist procedures against black people and sometimes brown people in that specific wording, with that specific wording, right? They use excessive force repeatedly. They have a pattern and practice of using excessive force racially discriminatory against black people and sometimes brown people. They also, nah, they also, they also fail to investigate situations that deal with assault towards women, um, assault and battery towards women, and sexual assault towards women. They have a lack of due diligence with those investigations. They have a lack of thorough investigations when police are found to operate unlawfully. When police do commit crimes, they have a pattern of covering up those crimes and a lack of holding those officers accountable. Um, so this is the attorney general. For everybody who don't understand, the attorney general is um, the highest office in Illinois um, that can conduct the investigation and then indict somebody. It's the attorney general's office. The only thing above that is the U.S. attorney, which is the feds. You know what I'm saying? So for the highest state office in Illinois to say that the Joliet police um, and the whole system, not just the Joliet police, but also the Will County State's attorney is operating ineffectively in a discriminatory manner against black and brown people. Like, we should be outraged because I'm sure this has reached somebody's household, everybody's household, at one point or another. Somebody, if it wasn't your father, mother, son, sister, you know what I'm saying, then it was a cousin. You know what I'm saying? But everybody knows somebody out here who was affected in a way. But like I said, everything get normalized out here, right? So it's a lack of people that's really organizing, and the mass of people really just shrug it off as day to day. But nah, this not the way it's supposed to be. And once you realize something is wrong, then you can fix it.
Okay, so Mr. Karl, I am a woman, I try to bring the facts. So I just want people to know that what fairness,
Now business taxes is having a
New developments tonight in a story that we've been following for years. Eric Lurie died in police custody in Joliet in 2020. It sparked a wide-ranging investigation into the police department, and to date, the results of that investigation were released. NBC5's Christian Farr spoke with Lurie's wife about what they found.
I'm joyful and hopeful at the same time.
For the past 4 years, Nicole Lurie has been fighting for justice when her husband Eric Lurie died right after being in the custody of Joliet police. Following Eric's death, Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul opened an investigation in 2021, and today the AG released those findings.
I'm hopeful for change in our community.
The 100-plus page report looked into the department as a whole and not just Eric Lurie's case.
Hey, wake up!
Which was captured on police video and showed Lurie being slapped by one officer while another used a baton to pull something from his mouth. The AG found that officers many times use unreasonable force, which includes head strikes, and has a history of discriminating against black and brown people.
Nothing was new for me. I mean, everything that I was speaking about, like I said 3 years ago, going into this investigation, I knew all of it was going to come out factual.
In a joint statement with the AG, Joliet's current mayor, Terry D'Arcy, said change within its department has already started and went on to say that Joliet residents deserve lawful and constitutional policing that is fair to all people, regardless of race and gender.
You can't just treat people any kind of way and do what you want to do to people. They are human beings.
Nicole and her attorneys say that the AG's findings will be helpful with the lawsuit that was filed against the city of Joliet and its police department concerning Eric's death. Nicole's attorney says that the city's defense expert told the judge that he didn't find anything wrong with police practices.
We have a Monell claim. So the Monell claim is basically alleging just what the what the AG found, that Joliet has a pattern and practice of these unconstitutional procedures.
Christian Farr, NBC5 News.
Okay, so I just want to, I shared that just to let everybody know that we talk facts over here. So keep going, Ferrell.
No. So I mean, like with that information, it's like, you know what I mean, what can you do with it? So like I said, the first thing, my goal, you know what I mean, is to help change things out here and help build our community up socially, economically, and politically. So let's start with the social part. The social part is the things that happen like day to day, the way we interact with each other, right? And not only the way we interact with each other, the way other people and systems interact with us, right? So if they telling you, you know, like she just showed the news clip and I just tried to explain it, but they saying that, you know, a lot of the things that the police do are unlawful, right? And they have a history, they have a pattern of doing unlawful things. We get a lot of calls, you know what I mean? We get a lot of calls with people, things that happen on the day-to-day, stuff that don't make the papers, things that people are scared to come forth and say. But the only way for us to continue to change or to get the necessary change needed is for us to come together. You know what I mean? We got to come together and have some kind of solidarity. We got to have an understanding of what's going on, and we got to have an understanding of what to do about what's going on. Right. So with this AG report, we are having community meetings, you know what I mean, based around this. The Attorney General is meeting with the community to try to come up with different policies, suggestions for policy change that they want to see within the Joliet Police Department. That's not enough for me and my constituents. Policy change is not enough. When you have a report that says that officers acted unlawfully, right? That officers violated people's rights, that officers hurt people. You have this right documented now. So we want those officers held accountable criminally, right? We want them to be found criminally negligent. We want those officers indicted. Right now, with the current Department of Justice that we have, with the current administration, we have an administration that is pushing for full immunity for police. We have an administration that has frozen any civil suits on a federal level dealing with police officers, right? So right now, even though we have the proof right now that, you know what I mean, wrongs were committed, we won't see any change. We won't see anything done about those wrongs in a criminal nature. We won't see any of those officers arrested or tried or indicted right now with the current administration because the DOJ is frozen. The DOJ cannot do anything right now because of the current administration. Administration meaning the current president and the policies that president and his cabinet pushes, right? So the DOJ is frozen right now. Nothing will happen to police officers right now, which is scary because that means that now they can act with full immunity and they can do what they want to do because they know there's no checks and balances, which means that more people, you know what I mean, might get, you know, unlawful acts against them, right? Because they're not scared to do it now because they got real backing, right? But still, us as a community, what we can do is still come together right now and change the policies that's in place locally. So we could do that on a state level. We could do that right now. We could organize to understand what's going on, you know what I'm saying, and get full knowledge of this, and then we could put some kind of action behind it. And so, like I said, social change too is the fact that if you look at Joliet right now, we moved to Joliet. You know what I'm saying? And people that know me, they know I came out here in high school, right? And when I moved out here, you know what I'm saying, it was community. You know what I mean? It used to always be people outside on the east side, always be people outside on the end, always be people outside on the hill. The hill had two sets of projects. The east side had a set of projects. The end had a set of projects. I mean, and besides the projects, it was just people outside. You know what I mean? Everybody knew each other, regardless of the disputes that people got into within that community. They still knew each other, and it was still community. You know what I'm saying? To an extent, right? Right now, there is no black community in Joliet. There is nowhere where the black dollar can circumvent throughout our community, where we have our own stores, where we can go to work, come home from work, spend our dollar in our stores, and we know that money, you know what I'm saying, is going to be within the community. It's going to help build our community. You know what I mean? It's not a community. It's no community in Joliet where it's mostly black homeowners, not renters, but homeowners. You know what I'm saying? And so we don't have a true community in Joliet right now, right? So in order to get that back, we got to understand what's going on economically in Joliet, right? So you got to understand economics. You got to understand the money that's already been allocated for communities that were affected by the war on drugs. That's a real thing. It really has been money that's been allocated for communities that's been affected by the war on drugs. That was passed when marijuana became legal. So part of the marijuana legislation is that 25% of the tax dollars from marijuana sales is supposed to go back to communities they call R3 zones that were affected by the war on drugs. We don't see that happening out here. A good question would be is where are those funds
Because
going?
first of all, I just want to interject something.
Uh,
You know this, but what community leaders are telling us, hey, we need to go down there to City Hall and we want this money put back into the communities.
mhm. That's a start.
We have no black representation in Joliet right now. So, uh, so who's going to tell me that there's money for my people down there? All of them council people down there.
That's the thing, right? Who has ever told? You know what I mean? If nobody never did it, um, the thing is we got to understand as a community what's going on, and if we know the power is in the people, you know what I'm saying. So if we know what's going on, the power lies within us because that vote, you know what I mean. In the democracy, we still go vote. So um, the power lies within us. If we know what's going on, we decide who we want to lead and be our voice. And that goes from the economics to the political part, the social and the
Have
economic
you
part.
addressed anybody about the money that's down there? That's the war on drugs? Have you voiced the concern?
So out here, we are organizing behind that, but no, we have not addressed that because that is an issue
So
that we have
many
not
other things.
even gotten to yet. Yeah, it's so much we haven't gotten to that yet. But I can tell you this though. Um, I am part of an organization called Equity and Transformation, where in the city of Chicago, yeah, that has been addressed. And we do intend to bring the things that we have done, the wins that we have got from the campaigns in the city of Chicago to Joliet. And yeah, we have addressed that. And we had a program called the Guaranteed Income Program, where we took formerly incarcerated families. The initial pilot program was 50 families, and we took those 50 families and we gave those members of formerly incarcerated families $500 a month, a network of resources. And what happened was the recidivism rate within that initial that those initial 50 families was zero. So all people needed was a little bit of help and a network of resources, and all of those people got up and they did something, to help themselves. They became better just with the help, just with a little bit of help. So The next run, it was 100 families. The next year, and then the following year after that, it was another 100 families. The city of Chicago picked it up, and the founder of Equity Transformation, Richard Wallace, he actually sat on a board and helped Chicago develop the board to structure how they were going to do the guaranteed income program. And they actually emulated the program that was developed by Equity and Transformation. They picked up 3,200 families, I believe.
Excuse me. Can you put in the comments a link to the organization or write down? Put in there what the organization is.
Yeah, you can go to eastchicago.org. I'm putting in the chats though.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to put it in the chat. It's only gonna show up.
If it's not in the chat, everybody, then what we'll do is after the chat, it'll be in the comments, and we will pin it in the comments. So that's nice that y'all got that program.
Yeah, so we gonna so the goal is to bring, you know what I mean, to bring that to Joliet. And I see Tony Williams said we are more targeted when we come together to voice our concerns about this issue. Tony, we are more targeted when we stand alone and voice our concerns. It's easier to pick off, you know what I'm saying, a sheep by themselves than it is a flock. You know what I mean? So like they always say, you know, power is in the people, man. It's strength in numbers. If it's one or two of us that go around to the city council, you know, and say and speak, you know what I mean, and it's the same one or two people, it's easy to overlook those people. It's easy to try to shut those people off or try to demonize those people, make them look crazy or something like that. But if it's 100 people with the same message going down there, you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna dismiss 100 people. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. It really is strength in numbers and it's power in the people, and that's, you know what I mean. That's how we gotta move. That's the only way to move. You know what I mean? We got us. You know what I mean? When they ask who got us, we got us. Yeah. So.
Okay. So
You about to close
this? What organizations do they have in Joliet that pushing for you to get them, those that don't want to go to college? Do they have any programs to get them in, like, you know what I mean, trade schools?
Oh, it's a bunch of organizations that you know, that we work with. We got a chapter of you know, Equity Transformation has a Joliet chapter. As far as for college, I know an organization that helps students actually with the enrollment process in the colleges. It's called Step Into the Light. As far as the trade schools, you know what, we're working to find something as far as with the trade schools. And it is something. I can't think of it offhand, but yeah, it's something. Okay, it's something for everything.
Just put them in the comments, and how can people get in touch with you and the actual name of your organization? If you can put that in the chat, and then I can put it in the main chat like I did the Eat Chicago program.
Okay. Yeah, they could. Most people though, they could just reach me on Facebook. Okay. I mean, if you need help with a situation, or if you got any questions, you can really just reach me on Facebook, and that'll be the easiest way, you know.
Okay. Reach Mr. Karl Ferrell on Facebook. Now, what other services do you offer?
As far as
I see you help people get LLCs and different things.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm a general contractor, me myself. So we do home rehabs. We do rehabs, remodels, and then we also do new construction. But then other than that, I'm a representative for a black-owned company. It's called Nove, and Nove basically has a better way of doing everything. They can save everybody some money and make everybody some money. So
Can
Nove
you
has,
put the name of that in the chat? What
yeah, yeah.
services does Nove offer?
Oh man, business setup. Free LLC setup. They have tax services where you can even get a free refund estimate on your taxes with no obligations. Um, Man, just it's just a little bit of every credit repair. It's just a little bit of everything. But I also dropped that link in the chat too.
Okay.
I'll drop both links. I'll drop my the website for my general contractor
Now
service.
is that now also because you also is that also the link for the life insurance?
Yes. Yeah, so it's the same link. So
Put that in there because I've got to check that out for somebody.
okay. Yeah.
I went to a retreat this weekend, so I got to get on it. I got something, and I will be letting you know.
Well, it's there. It's there whenever you need it.
Okay, so somebody, Chi-Town 38 says, what's the Novi website?
I'm finna put it in the chat right now. I'm gonna drop you a link. Hold on 1 sec.
So, everyone, you can get in touch with Mr. Karl Ferrell. You can inbox him on Facebook. Not only is he concerned about the economic and social status of our people, and also he can do things such as help you with credit repair, life insurance, and then you see that there's an injustice, you might want to reach out to him. So get some things organized. People in Joliet, they don't move the way Chicago. You got people. It's different here in Joliet. Is all I can say.
It is different.
Some people want to be recognized. They're more concerned about their name more than marching.
Yeah, it's like this. I don't you know what I mean? I don't everything like anything people doing to for the betterment, you know what I mean, of us, you know, it's cool. Some people just don't move in solidarity and like that. That's definitely you know, that in the end that's an issue. But everything that everybody's doing is necessary. You know what I'm saying? What needs to be let go of is the individualism. It can't never be no big eyes and little U's. You know what I'm saying? It just gotta be us. And until that's understood, we're gonna always have problems. I can give you an example. When I the things that I mentioned, that when I first started organizing, when I first started community organizing, the organizations that I helped found, when I got the state's attorney and his group of people mad at me, a lot of black folks stepped away from me too. A lot of black folks criminalized me and demonized me. You know what I mean? Because this man
bring up your past.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And
it's like
about getting nothing done.
And that's a whole mindset. That's a whole thing that, like, you know what I'm saying, it's instilled. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a culture that's instilled where a lot of stuff is accepted and people are scared to, like, you know what I'm saying, go against the status quo when we not part of the status quo. And so, you know what I'm saying, you can't be scared to go against yourself. Like, you just got to be you. But a lot of people don't even understand that they not being them, that they falling in line. Say, how do I find time to address all the issues?
Mr. Ferrell has a lot of kettles in the fire. How do you find time to address all these issues?
Man, bro, because it's just my life. It's like this. If it's not enough for us that's fighting for us on a whole, just in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not enough of us that really understand like what's going on, and you know what I'm saying, get the training to try to organize and really fight those issues and organize people, take the time to do it, right? So I feel like, you know, it's a calling, it's bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? So that part is just something I got to do. And I do that all day, regardless of what else I'm doing. Regardless of, you know what I'm saying, me doing the things that I do to make money. You know what I'm saying? I'm always involved in what's going on with the community and the betterment of our people. And it's since it's not enough of us doing it, you know what I'm saying, I can't take a break from that. So I gotta find time. You know what I mean? So I just pray on it. I pray on it, man. I pray for strength, man, and I try to get a little sleep, man, and I go, you know what I'm saying, every day. That's it.
Now, there is another comment up there. You want to read that one? I'll put them up. I'll let you read the comments.
We all we got. I see him, Tony Williams. Fact. Divide and conquer has always worked in slavery. That's true. Divide and conquer has always worked, and it still is working. I mean, even from the, you know, from the Willie Lynch letter, you know what I'm saying? It's like we all pitted against each other. But hey, you know, that's a big thing too. People always tell me that like you can't live in the past, right? So the thing is, if you don't understand the past, you're gonna repeat it. So the things that happened in the past, having that understanding of what happened, even if it's just to know what happened, so you won't allow it to happen again when you see it coming. That's important. You know what I'm saying? So like that's one of the main things. Like people forget that like the reason our community is so divided is because that was a culture that was culturally instilled in us. And that's not something that like just happens. That was culturally instilled in us the same way. You know what I'm saying? The shorties is out here with the poles and you know what I'm saying with the switches. That's all a culture that was instilled in us. Now the question is how? How did it get instilled? Where did it come from? And then once you figure out what weapons are formed against you, you know what I'm saying, then you could conquer those weapons. You could fix the things that are wrong. But you gotta have an understanding of where did the problem come from. You know, in order to figure out a solution to a math problem, you gotta know the full equation. Then you can figure out the answer. You know, and it's the same thing with life, especially with us. But it's easy once you realize what's going on. And I know we had talked earlier before the show, we were chatting about like the things that are going on currently. And I know you had asked me like, what do I feel about the current president? But it's a lot of things that's going on right now that people not even paying attention to. That has been going on for the last like 6 years. Um, One of those things that's really big is um, they are getting rid of Black history, not just a little bit, but a lot, right? And
Mhm.
if you didn't know, because most of us, you know what I'm saying, are probably on the show up in Illinois, but across the Bible Belt, from Florida to Texas, over the last 6 years, they stopped the Black history in K through 12. It is illegal in the state of Florida to have Black American, African American AP studies courses in the universities. This is before everything that just happened right now. Because right now, all the schools that are still having that teach African American studies are getting defunded. Those schools aren't getting
Wow.
federal funding.
Didn't this happen before Trump was elected? On different states had already put this in place.
So yes, so different states across the Bible Belt started it during Trump's first term.
Okay.
As far as with the, and I mean, it's like it's crazy stuff that like people don't pay attention to. Like right now, it's illegal. Well, even before Trump got elected, um, they passed this in Louisiana, Alabama, and it's another state down south where it's illegal to have like a what they consider, because they just call anything, any group of black folks that's together, they're gonna say it's a Black Lives Matter rally, like how they did in Joliet.
Oh my
But
God, I don't even want to talk about
but
Black Lives Matter because that was a whole.
but it's illegal
But keep going. I'm
to
sorry.
have a rally against some what they would consider. No, that's good. It's illegal to have a rally that they would consider to be a BLM rally in like Alabama, Louisiana. It's illegal. You know what I'm saying? And that was before Trump got in. They were taking away the liberties of people. That's a constitutional right, but they've been taking away those liberties. So it's a lot of stuff that's going on that people not really paying attention to. People were looking for a stimulus check, right? Like, man, the money was coming. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna tell you this: with the guaranteed income program from Equity and Transformation, like I said, we gave people $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year. So if you looking for some, you know what I'm saying? We got us. We got us. You can't look for it from the same person who's gonna slap your hand. You know what I mean? The people that really want to help you, they there. It's just we being overlooked. But now with the current administration, the work that a lot of the black organizations are doing will be considered, they will be reclassified, relabeled as domestic terrorists. It's a lot of stuff going on. People just not paying attention to it because it don't affect you on a day-to-day. But it's here. This is where we at. And this ain't something I'm making up. Look at all the executive orders that's been passed
Right.
over the last 60 days.
Okay. What do you think about all of this DEI stuff and boycotting? What's up with that? Give me your input, and then after you give me your input, you can read the comments that's up here. Okay.
All right. The Tuskegee. Did you just ask me about Tuskegee?
No, I said the DEI.
Oh,
They're talking about all the DEI and all of these boycotts.
all right. So look, first of all, like I said, I strongly support any form of us organizing together and moving together, right? Because it's just a show of solidarity. It's just that it's a show of solidarity, and if you could do it one time, you could do it two times. So as far as with the DEI, let's start there. A lot of people go by the numbers like, yeah, most black folks wasn't benefiting from the DEI. The question is, why was DEI there? And so DEI was there the same reason affirmative action was there, because people weren't giving black folks jobs. They weren't giving black folks opportunities, right? So they had to mandate that. They had to say it is illegal not to have a certain percentage of black folks there. They mandated it so much that it was federally, it's a federal law. It's federally federal legislation to say you have to have 26% of minority-owned businesses and 6% woman minority-owned businesses on all federal jobs. Now, in the city of Chicago, it's a lot of black organizations, right, that actually stood on business when it came to that. Um, I've been a independent contractor for about 5 years now, 4 or 5 years, but those first couple of years of business, um, that DEI, because if you a small black business and you bidding on work, federal work, you know what I mean, another business that's been there and had the financial backing for 100 years, you know what I mean, they could just underbid you. They not gonna lose money. They don't care. They gonna get you out the way. That's business, right? So in order for us as a people who economically have not had the same opportunities, because it's only been legal for us to go to the banks without the banks turning us away since 1969, since the Fair Housing Act, right? So it's only since 1969 have we really been able to go to the banks for business without legally on paper getting turned away. And so it existed, the prejudice still existed long after that. I mean, it's still realigning. But what I'm saying is that these programs were there in the city of Chicago that really helped our first business, because they stood on business and made sure that with all those cranes going up, all these buildings, all these work downtown, you're gonna have black contractors here, right? And these black contractors gonna have opportunity to get funding. You know what I mean? Because sometimes that just doesn't exist. It's hard. It's still hard for black-owned businesses. So in that aspect, yes, you know what I'm saying? In the city of Chicago, I saw with my eyes, I was part of it. Those DEI mandates and those organizations, it really worked, right? But on the whole, anything dealing with the word minority in business, diversity, equity, and inclusion, um, first, white people start using their women as minorities. So white women became minorities. So then the white owned businesses would put the business in their wife name or their mother name because the white woman was considered a minority once they became minorities, right? So then, right, those same businesses that were excluding us before still excluded us, but now they came under DEI by using their wives. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But if more of us understood the reason why I was there and stood on business, that wouldn't have been able to happen. So it's things that it's like sometimes we fight for the tools, but it's only a few of us fighting for the tools. And then when we get that legislative change and it's a law, it's not enough for us to understand what's going on. And the organizing ain't behind that. And then it kind of falls to the wayside. Just like how we was talking about the marijuana tax dollars earlier. If it's not enough for us to say something about it, they're gonna take that money and put it in the general fund. And they're gonna do what they're gonna train the police with it. They're gonna buy a new SWAT tank. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta know what's going on. And so that's why, you know what I'm saying, it's important to have community. And without community, it's not enough conversations about what's going on and what's happening. You know what I mean? Just think about it. In the 70s and the 80s, it used to be all the social clubs.
Right.
And with those social clubs, it was different kind of conversations from the community. And it went back to the home and it spread. You know what I mean? We don't have that no more, especially not out here.
Oh no, not out here.
We got
Joliet
to
is
get back.
totally different from Chicago. I've been out here the majority of my life, but on my mother's side, they was from Chicago. So I saw the difference when we moved out here, from the social clubs to everything.
Yeah.
So what about, can you explain this segregation stuff to me? That they talking about we going back to segregation with Trump in office. What was that? What he said, what he did? Please explain that to me.
The 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 thing he did where he removed. Okay, so certain civil rights acts had gotten removed, so it's not illegal anymore to have segregated areas in on federal, you know what I mean, on federal projects. So like if you want to have a federal, so people saying like that's not what it was about. But the point is that was there for a reason. It was there for a reason. It was there, you know what I'm saying, for a reason to hold that door open. And now people have the ability to close that door again, right? So if somebody really want to, they could put up a sign and say like whites only bathroom. You know what I mean? Not saying that in today's world it'd be accepted, but they could do it because it's not illegal anymore. And so, it's just like I say, it's just about understanding like, what's going on and like how it can affect you, um, just in the long run. You know what I'm saying? The big scheme. It's always a bigger picture, and so you got to look at the bigger picture, not just what's right in front of you. What you think about it? You froze up, April.
There might be a train. Okay. So the
There you
internet
go.
might go out because I live over here by the train tracks.
Yeah.
The things I want to take away that I've learned so far is our people, we got to understand the economic and social status of our people. We need to find out, we need people that will give us the information on what monies are available to us.
Hmm.
Trump it hard with the police officers, with the Department of Justice, with the current administration. Things might not get addressed with the police department, such as what's going on in the city of Joliet, where they racially go people. Am I right with saying that?
Right. Yeah.
And okay, I'm just trying to make sure because we try to get facts on this show. I might have to call somebody and tell them they was right. Well, I think people were so concerned about the migrant situation that they couldn't look past nothing else. We were hearing, the migrants, they were coming over here. They were getting this money. They were getting food stamps. They was getting money. Then we come to find out, well, the different cities and administrations stole the majority of the money before the migrants even got it.
So even with that, right? That's something that like people gotta understand. Like me personally, if it's something that's in the newspaper, I just consider it false until I could find out the true story from the people it happened to, because the media has always been used as a weapon against us. And the media has always been used to gaslight, you know what I mean, to gaslight things that that happen in our communities, right? So you will never get like the full truth from the media unless it's the sports page or obituary. You know what I mean? Like you the okay, I'm gonna give you an example. Especially in Joliet, the Herald News editor is Joseph Hosey. Joe Hosey.
He's still the editor?
Yeah, he backed the editor now, right? So the Herald News caters to the police. Joe Hosey and Al Rochner, the former police chiefs, like this. Joe Hosey was just part of the from the former mayor when he just filed that RICO case against them. Joe Hosey was involved in the RICO case, right? Because they plotted to do something to the former mayor or whatever. But the thing is, that newspaper caters to the police. You don't see, you know what I'm saying, many things.
Yeah, they'll put our people on the front page, but
Yeah.
they
gonna demonize you.
Found innocent. They was found innocent. The charges was dropped.
Yeah. Yep. And they ain't gonna put that part in there, but they gonna demonize you though. Like
yeah, they gonna put your whole history.
Yeah. Even if you the victim, even if something happened to you, they gonna demonize you. It's people that's died, you know what I'm saying? That's died. You can't even let them rest in peace. People that had car accidents, simple death. You can't even let them rest in peace. You got to bring up their background, like, and try to demonize them, right? It was just a situation where a young man was shot in his house, and the police gave a false narrative, and the newspaper ran with it, and they said the young boy had shot himself. You know what I'm saying? That affected their family. Their family was not able to receive help from certain places, from certain organizations, because they saw in the newspaper that this young man shot himself, which was a false narrative. That is not what happened. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you can't believe the newspaper, right? So the media is against us, and it's easy to, that's still part of divide and conquer, because if you keep the people that need the help fighting each other, you're not paying attention to what's going on. That's the overlay for the underplay. You know what I'm saying? So they did that. They came and they used the migrants and they tricked us. They used the migrants, right? They tried to say these migrants are the problem. The migrants not the problem. The problem's still there when the migrants gone. The problem still is that, you know what I'm saying, these corporations not paying taxes, but the people at the bottom getting the hell taxed out of them, and it's not enough opportunities, and these doors are getting closed right in front of us. And it's things that, this is, Joliet has the third highest GDP in the country. I mean, we got the third highest amount of gross domestic product that come through here because of those train yards. because of the inland ports. That's the biggest inland port in the country. That's all the money that come through those trucks, right? But how many dignified jobs are available from that? And that goes a long way, because if all that money coming through our community and we not seeing any of that money or not enough of that money, and then there's no way to retain that money because we don't own grocery stores, we don't have our own clothing stores, or you know what I'm saying, it's not a lot of restaurants. We don't have somewhere to put our money that's going to benefit our community. We don't have our own banks. We not giving ourselves loans. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a credit union. Like, so we don't have that sense of community like that. But all the money out here is coming through, it's flowing through. We getting used for cheap labor. That's where the temp services come in. They use us, you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't benefit us in the long run. It's not a dignified wage, you know? And so yeah, I used to speak out, especially when I was a union member out here. I was speaking out a lot about trying to unionize
Mm-hmm.
those warehouses, because people need a dignified wage. They need a wage and they need benefits. You know what I mean? If all that money coming through here like that, you know. But like I said, we gotta. It's gonna take a lot of organizing, socially, economically, and politically, for us to change it. We could change it, and this can be the next Black Wall Street.
Okay, so let's read the comments. Read that one that's up there.
Things that happened in the past are happening now, just under a different name. That's from R. Rip. You're right. Things that happened in the past are happening now, just under a different name. Um, a lot of things are hidden, and a lot of things that happened in the past, people don't know happened in the past. So it's brand new to some. You know what I mean? Like I said, if you don't know your past, you're doing to repeat it.
Okay, here's another one.
They are erasing our Black history, and you not lying. Um, with the like with the Tuskegee. That's what I thought you had said earlier, April. I thought you said Tuskegee, but
No,
yeah, that
the DEI. Okay, yeah.
Tuskegee. That's crazy that they took them off of the Air Force website. That they getting rid of that history, but you know what I'm saying? It's right in front of our face. They doing it right in front of they playing in our face, just like that. No, but
Okay,
this is what people voted for.
I put the link. This is the link. KG Visionary Enterprise. That's the website, and then this is the link for the Novi. And then here's another comment.
I think the important question is how we stop brainwashing and the brainwashing and dividing the Black folks. Seems like the current Black leaders are sold out. All right, Shot Town 38, I feel you. So I feel you for a lot of different reasons on that. But um, one thing is, man, just understanding, like I said, man, community is everything, right? So if you out here, you know what I mean, over the next for the rest of the year, um, we're gonna be having community meetings where we talk about, you know what I'm saying, how to organize a campaign around this Attorney General report. Um, be part of that, you know what I'm saying? So
How can we find out that information? Would you let me know
oh,
so I can share?
I'm gonna post everything on Facebook, so you just gotta just follow
Okay,
the Facebook page, and then you'll see it pop up. But more than
okay,
likely, it'll be the third Wednesday of the month for April and May, and then I had a location. You know what I mean? I'll post a location and stuff prior to.
okay.
But as far as the brainwashing, man, like knowledge is power. So like the more truthful, knowledgeable facts that people know, you know what I'm saying, and understand, because you know it's knowledge, wisdom, you know what I'm saying, and then well, with knowledge and understanding, you could turn it to wisdom, right? So the more people understand, the more knowledge people understand, you know, the wiser we are, right? And so wisdom, you know what I'm saying, wisdom raises civilizations, you know what I'm saying? So like it's us having conversations like this and taking what we learn from these conversations and planting that seed somewhere else and just continue to do that, you know what I'm saying, and continue to build together, but it's about building together. We gotta have that solidarity, and then once we get that, you know what I'm saying, we can move. You know, we can move a lot.
Is there any more questions? Mr. Ferrell, Mr. Karl Ferrell,
I appreciate
you're
that.
a man of many hats. And I want to say I consider you a king of Joliet, Illinois.
I appreciate that.
You're like me. You know, I support what everybody is doing out here. Nice that even though everybody's doing everything individually, that we
Yeah,
can come together collectively.
yeah, man. That's
That's so wonderful here. I need y'all to follow Mr. Karl Ferrell, those that live in Joliet, on the third Wednesday for April and May. He's gonna let us know what's going on in the community. So we'll support him along with anybody else that's doing anything. I'm gonna support everybody in what they're doing. Ain't no big eyes and little U's here. It's about us.
yeah. It's I mean, and it's a lot of so right now this Sunday. So I work with Nicole too. Nicole Lurie. She has the Jessica
Yeah,
Wise.
I'm thinking about going to that.
You,
It's Saturday, right? Or is it
it's Sunday.
Sunday? You'll probably see me there.
Yeah, I
What time does it start?
3, I believe. I think it said 3. You know what? I'm
We'll
gonna see
come
if I
back.
can find a link for that, and I'm gonna drop it in the chat too. But yeah, you should come out, man. It's a good time for all the women.
Hold
It's
on. Yeah.
really empowering. Then it's nice food, and then you better get the mimosas. It's a team of
Yeah, I
guys.
saw that. Bottomless mimosas. Hold on, everybody. Good gracious of life. I just saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I was at her back to school special.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. OJ was the DJ. It was right down the street from me at North Park.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can find that link real quick.
Yeah, see if you can. Hold on.
Father Francis, please call 7045.
Because I just sent it to somebody and asked them were they available. I'm going to post it right now.
Yeah, I'm putting it in the chat right now.
Okay.
And then my brother Ernest Trim, he just released his book. Hold on.
What Nicole Lurie is having, everybody, is she is having a women's empowerment summit. IBM organization will also be having a women's summit in September. Okay, put your brother's book in there.
I got you. Yeah. Yep. So that's just part of building community. You know what I mean? And those are some of the people I work with that they out here, they doing the work, and they making a difference. You know what I mean? And they trying to help change the narrative. Yeah. So.
Well, I really appreciate you. I thank you for your time. I know you're a busy man. You know, 1 hour a day, everybody learning research. Knowledge is the power.
Knowledge is power. Yes. And I definitely appreciate you having me on today.
No problem.
Just
Get ready. We coming.
You ready? We coming.
Get ready, we coming. Okay,
Yeah.
Ernest Krim. What's the author?
Yeah, his name Ernest Krim. Ernest Krim,
He was a teacher here, right?
he was a teacher here, and he saw that the school system was just crazy. Oh, look, before we go, I want people to understand something else too. DEI. So with schools that are in black communities, right? Most schools in black communities don't receive the same amount of funding, right, as schools in other communities. Um, and that's part of redlining. That goes back to part of that history people say we don't need to know, but that still exists and it's still happening. And so what they do is a lot of times, like schools, like look at Washington, right? Look at Washington Elementary School. Washington is not going to get the same amount of money as some of the schools in Sherwood. And so those schools get money.
Lower level kitchen.
Hold on one second. So those schools,
Lower level kitchen.
those schools will receive funding from DEI initiatives. And so that funding would be used to hire more teachers, because a lot of time the schools that's in urban communities has way too many kids and not enough teachers there, right? They overpopulated. If you got a neighborhood that's full of renters, you know what I mean? A lot of times the schools are overpopulated. And so the DEI, the money comes from DEI initiatives to hire more teachers or teachers aides. And so when they stop that funding, you know what I mean, you're gonna have less teachers. So you're gonna have more overcrowded classrooms. And so Ernest was explaining this to me, how that worked. And so when he saw the way the school system was working, and he saw that they were limiting the way that the students could learn Black history, he decided to just, do his own thing and become a true historian of Black history. And it's his passion, and it's really working out for him, man. And I love hearing him talk because he's real knowledgeable, you know what I mean? And yeah, you should check his book out.
He was a teacher in Joliet, and
Mhm.
I knew when I saw that he was really getting ready to talk about what was going on. I said, well, he won't be around here long.
Yeah, they tried to get him out the way too. They tried to get him out the way. It's a lot of forces at work here against people that speak out, um, just for the benefit of us. You know what I'm saying? Not
I
saying
did
that we.
not realize Joe Hosey was back being the editor.
Yeah, he back. He
Okay,
back.
I'm gonna talk to you about that off the record. Hey, everybody, Karl, thanks for taking time from your busy schedule. I know you got some other stuff going on. I appreciate you. Man, I really appreciate you coming on the show. And everybody, this is April Showers. I'm going to be bringing you kings and queens from Joliet, people that's making a difference. I respect everybody in what they're doing. Um, I don't dislike anybody in Joliet that's doing anything positive to help people. I don't roll with this person or that person. I respect them all. This is April Showers. Thank you, Mr. Carl Ferrell, and I'm
It
out.
was an honor. I appreciate you.
Okay.